you will find that there's a word that I'm starting off tonight with, my management, the art of managing yourself and your money. Now, this is a workbook you can go and buy, but tonight we're going to share it with you for free. I actually got this idea in 2004 and wrote this workbook, and it's always been something that I come to at various stages of my life. And if you really want a compact summary of what you should look at when you want to try and manage your money, or your energy for that matter, because remember, we're managing money and time and energy and all the resources God has given us. And my motto is, I'm here to help you shape your thinking about money. So there you go. So that you can master your money, come and stay financially free and enjoy true quality of life. I'm not going to go into that, but let me, I can maybe just share with you for a sec what the purpose, vision, and mission of my ministry is. You can read there yourself, but it basically says the purpose is to equip you as a Christian with all kinds of tools and give you a workable mindset and practical tools to experience financial freedom by applying scriptural truths, because I love the Word. I love the Word of God. It gives me a lot of confidence, and the Word of God is full of wisdom. As a matter of fact, I found that if you use the word well, it refers to words of wisdom, identifying and highlighting the financial obstacles to quality of life, and giving you the necessary tools to eliminate those obstacles that we find during Monday, especially on Mondays, through to a week, through end of the week, to liberate yourself and victorious lives in Jesus Christ. And this is my focus. It's my passion. It's also my calling. It's my purpose. Love to share with you the insights that God's given me over the years. Now, you will find there's an index. I can't even remember what the book sells for, but it's on Amazon.com. But let me not talk about that. I'm going to share with you, and you will have a lot of ideas and also questions when you work through these different topics. I'm not going to discuss them all in detail, but I've got 24 different chapters or components making up the word management, which is a word I've coined in 1999 and 2000, which is a combination of the word money and management. If we talk about management, we're talking about managing people. But when we talk about management, it's about managing your money. And obviously it includes people as well. So let me just run through the topics that we're not going to discuss tonight in detail, but to show you how detailed my approach is. It's an integrated approach. It's not only about money, it's about you. And it's not about just number crunching. I'm saying it's important that you have an integrated approach, because money is complicated. It's actually also very simple, because when it's gone, and there's nothing left. So it's important to control it. So there's a constant quest. I'm going to work through that during the course of the evening, next half an hour or so. The constant quest for personal wealth. It never stops from morning to night. Getting the formula right. I'm going to show you the formula for what personal wealth is all about. We all know about reputation, but I'm talking about reputation capital there. We might actually come back to some of this again in the months ahead. Jasper has referred to that intimated that we might be talking about it next year as well. Not specifically this topic, but yes, there's so much to say. And it's all about your testimony, your financial philosophy, and your religious beliefs. I've got some interesting combinations there: fear, greed, and competition, and so on. I'm not going to go, some of these topics I've already covered, like simplifying your life, and planning is a process, the consequences of getting it right, and you'll even find the word forgiveness there at number 21. So what we're going to do is I haven't written books for every one of these things, but you'll find it interspersed there with what I have learned and what I've shared with you over the last couple of months. Now, something that's dropped into my heart many years ago is what's on the screen there. You know, we always think, you know, this guy's rich and that guy's poor. And I've come to the conclusion that it's not the accumulation of wealth expressed in terms of money, possessions, qualifications, knowledge, influence, or power that will necessarily determine whether you are rich or poor, fulfilled or unfulfilled, happy or unhappy. But as I say there, rather what you aim to do with it once you have obtained or achieved it. The acid test of whether you are going to be leaving a legacy is what you did with God, what God has given you. The underlying motive will determine whether you, in fact, have achieved wealth and whether you have actually rather been selfish, kept it to yourself, self-interest, or whether you shared it with others in line with the broader purpose of your life. I'm not going to read through everything here, but there are snippets here which I cannot do other than just to read from there because it is captured on paper. So it's a broader purpose of your life defines effectively what you do when you collect or work for money, earn money, and so on. It will ultimately determine whether you have been impoverished or enriched during the course of your lifetime. Now, there's a few questions which we always have to keep in mind when we talk about money. I'm going to specifically talk about money and your other resources, but I will be talking about money in particular tonight. What is the purpose of money? What is my relationship with money? What role does my mind play in controlling my money? I'm going to say a lot about that tonight. What can money do for me and what can't money do for me? What are the rules that govern money? And what are the obstacles to accumulation of money wealth, so to speak? Can I control my own financial destiny? And how can I do it? So there's a preoccupation going on there in our minds, 25 hours a day. How to make more money, how to get a bigger slice of the cake, how to increase my wealth. And this is what we are busy with every day of our lives. As a matter of fact, we don't know it, but we're always trying to increase our own worth in our own eyes and also in the eyes of other people. So this is where I then came upon the word management. And look at the definition. I'm going to share this with you. I mean, you can see it, but I mean, look at this. It is such a, you know, I can actually make it even thicker. But let me not go and play with that tonight. I've got to be very careful because these tools distract my mind. But yes, once you have realized that your mind is the superhighway, where thoughts are the vehicles that take you to where your heart is, and that you can manage your thoughts every moment of every day, because this is what it's all about. We can think, we can control our thoughts, we can decide what choices we want to take in life, and you can manage your thoughts every moment of every day by exercising your own power of choice. You can start to take charge of your life and things like money. I refer to it as a thing because this is what it is. It's not something spiritual. It's the fruit of your labor, and it's also the exchange that you get for your services rendered so you can buy things. You will then discover that you can really mind your money. You must have all heard the saying, it's mind over matter. And I believe once you realize that you can control your thinking about money, you will discover that you can also control your money much better than just working, just going through the paces and let people take your money. Now I actually do a workshop on this, but tonight is just a preview and just to whet your appetite. The purpose of this workshop, or just this talk, is to make you aware that you can mind your money by using what I call management techniques, where management is the art of managing yourself and your money, and entrust you with tools to assist you to reach your goals. this could be a turning point just by running into this word and this principle. But let me just say this, unless you know who you are, you would never be able to work with money. It's one of the biggest challenges I've discovered in my life, because people don't know who they themselves are. They don't know how to work with money. But the moment you know what your desires, what makes you happy, and so on, then you will discover that you can, in fact, impact and control your destination. Now, George Bernard Shaw is an Irish player. He was an Irish player. And he once stated something brilliant. He said, the surest way to ruin a man who doesn't know how to handle money is to give him some. Now, that is a brilliant statement. I've been chewing on that for many years now since I discovered it. So I want to show you how to handle your money, or at least show you, which components go into the controlling of money. It's not just like earning money and getting money in your banking account and spending it. There's much more to it than just that. And it's very simple, but you must understand it's an integrated thing. There are different components which we don't always recognize in our managing of our money. Now, can you imagine if you had an enemy and you had a lot of money? Well, I don't have to imagine that you have enemies, because we all have. One way or the other, people don't like us and they try and work us out. If you're in a business environment, you'll find there's a lot of jealousy going around. But can you imagine if you had so much money that you can give those people the money just to hang themselves? I mean, it's a silly thing to say. What do you say, Jasper? I mean, you need a lot of money. Somebody like Elon Musk, he'd probably enemies as well. So then they can drown themselves with the money because that's what they want. But I mean, I'm not trying to be facetious or anything, but George Bernard Shaw has just nailed it. The surest way to ruin somebody who doesn't know how to handle debt, for example, is to give them debt. Let them have access to so much money that they can buy everything, and maybe true motives will come out. Now, as a Christian, when you start thinking about money, let me just show you the presumptions that we have, or the basic assumptions. That we normally have certain perceptions about money and what money can do for us. The Bible, is the Word of God, forms the basis of your Christian life. Now, we don't go and read the Bible normally when it's called the Bible for a reason, because that's where you find all the answers to life as well as money. We don't read it because we don't know how to start and so on. So if we didn't know how to manage our money, other than just tithing, and some people give a tithe to the church in the hope that they could double it, or maybe times 10, exponentially. God has never asked us to tithe just to make more money. It's just actually an offering to say thank you for what we've already got. And then obviously what people know about money in the Bible is they feel guilty because they don't give, and this is why they're avoiding it. But there are wonderful things said in the Bible, 2,350 verses handling money, and talks about debt in 66 or 67 cases, and it's never a good thing. But we normally have a trial and error financial philosophy, which we've accumulated over many years. And so you gain experience through mistakes and expensive lessons. Some kind of a budget doesn't always balance. And of course, if you start off with a budget which doesn't balance, it will never balance at the end of the year either. So be careful. Budget for a surplus. And various credit cards and credit agreements we have, which we normally start off with. And then, of course, we got this yearning for more income. We call it to make ends meet, but it's much more than that. Because somebody once asked, how much is enough? And J.D. Rockefeller said, just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Actually, we want to say a lot more, but people might think we're greedy, so we say just a little bit more. So, okay, already see we'll probably have to continue with this at the next session, but I'm talking let me help you, or at least, introduce you to a new thought system, which I call the management thought system, where your financial health, as opposed to your financial wealth, it's which is a bit of a one-dimensional principle. I mean, money wealth or financial wealth. I'm talking about financial health because it should mirror your financial relationship with money, which will obviously also your relationship with God, and it will be about the way you control your money. We think a lot about money. We spend our days, we spend all our waking hours almost thinking about money, how we can improve and increase. Now, I can go through these critical money rules. For a specific reason, I'm not going to go because I could spend the whole evening on this. But we have to understand there are critical non-negotiables about money. And I always say I don't mind showing people how to work with money if they understand who has given them the money in the first place, because God is the owner of everything. Psalm 24:1 says it. We are the stewards. We're not owners. We are the stewards, the house managers, the economists, because that's what in the Greek economy comes from. Economists come from the word ekonomos, which means you are a manager. You are not an owner. You are a steward, a manager. You'll find something like that in Luke 16. Go and find it. It's interesting how God says we shouldn't handle his money. God is the absolute controller. He is the provider. I mean, you'll read all those things and you'll discover it. But money is just a resource. It's not an asset. We are the assets. God uses us. And this is why you are your most valuable asset that you'll ever have the privilege of managing. Money is just a resource, just like fuel of a motor car is not an asset. Fuel is a consumable item. It's the motor car, but the motor car needs the fuel and so on. So therefore, never ever leave God out of the equation if you want to manage money. It's going to be quite a complicated road, and people have discovered that. So don't leave the equation. God's word tells us everything. And some people live their lives as if every day should be a miracle, especially at the month end. It's not necessary. If you apply these principles that God has given us in his word, which I'm trying to share with you very quickly, money, there are money miracles, but it's not on a scratch card. It's not a casino mentality. And of course, money is important, but never more important than people. We must understand that. God's got an economy, and I told you about it's an unlimited thing. God has got treasury in heaven, and he's sharing something with us. So the secret to successful management or faithful stewardship lies in the area of spending it properly. People, we learn a lot. We go to varsity, people teach us, and we improve our money-making skills, so to speak, by getting a qualification, but nobody teaches us how to spend the money. This is the secret. They tell us, we got and double our salary. Well, if you don't get it right, you'll still spend 70% of your income on debt management. So the secret is money management is all about faithful stewardship and spending your money properly. Now, it's not only about spending it on yourself, it's about giving, addressing your needs, paying off your debts, saving and investment, and staying clear of all those greedy and selfish wants. Be very careful. Somebody said something beautiful. Crown Financial Ministries many years ago, which I ascribe to. Be very careful. Money competes with Jesus Christ for the first place in your life. So the way we earn, this is my conclusion here on the critical money rules. The way we earn, spend, give, save our money should always be congruent with our life purpose, namely to glorify God, working on his agenda, bringing him honor, and reflecting his majesty and grace not ours. It's not about us, it's about God. God has given us enough money to sustain ourselves and also enjoy a lot of things, but he's never given it us so we can actually keep it and save it and die the richest person on earth. So can you imagine I've only probably almost done for tonight. And basically, I've just been introducing you to this approach, which I believe is a new approach. It was a new approach to me 20 years ago when I discovered it. But I still get excited about it because it works. My wife can vouch. She's actually on this program tonight as well. But she can vouch for the fact that it works for us. I mean, I'm 70 years old and I'm enjoying so many things. I cannot tell you, I mean, how God has blessed us, but we want to share it with you so you can also not only be wiser, but you could be more healthy and financially wealthy. Management engages the heart and mind, because this is where we got to find that the heart and the mind must talk to each other. There's got to be harmony between what you think and what your heart wants, which determine your outlook and you control the way you spend your resources. It has to do with controlling your senses and desires while managing the scarce resource of money in such a way that you respect the rules governing money. I wrote a book about money rules, and I said, money will rule over you until you discover and apply the money rules. Look at this for a secret. It's not just to follow your desires or your heart, but to direct them. You got to direct them where you want them to go. And that's why I'm saying the mind is the superhighway, where thoughts are the vehicles that mobilizes you towards your end goal. And it could be a spiritual goal. It could be a financial goal, how to buy a house, how to build a house, buy a car, to go overseas. But you have got to, the seed is actually in your heart and in your mind, and they need to talk to each other and to see how to get there. We will discover that soon, just now as well. Because your spending patterns normally follow the desire curve or appetite for things that can be bought with money. Now look at that. Just at the bottom there, you'll see money. I've just spelled it money with an M, 1, and Y. I've done it before as well in a different context. But what is the most important thing? Is it money or you? Which one are you going to allow to drive the other? And this is where we have to, you've got to be very careful. I actually even write there, money is nothing spiritual. It's not a spiritual thing. I know you feel spiritual when you go and stand there and pick and pay and you haven't got money in your credit card and you want to buy your groceries for 2,000 Rand, which doesn't really cover a lot. But you stand there and you get this cold sweat, this covering, you know, it's just glowing. This is not what I'm talking about, because that's fear, because you haven't got money in your credit card, maybe. It's not enough. So I'm just saying money is nothing spiritual. It's not an emotional thing. It is something that's governed by laws, and it could also be spiritual laws, but you will not believe how mathematics, philosophy, even theology and psychology comes together in the way that you manage your money. We are not, I just write it there, you and I, however, are not only subject to the physical laws of nature, but also subject to psychological and spiritual laws governing life. God performs a financial miracle, we are the beneficiaries. But you cannot spend your whole life waiting for miracle. Every day is a miracle in a different way. So miracle are ever the exception to the rule and not the rule. So people are scratching those cards, spinning those wheels in the hope that it will hit on the 777, so they can get the money. So let me say this. We should stop treating money as something mystical or foreign, over which we have no or very little control. It is subject to certain basic rules. If we break these rules, knowingly or unknowingly, we shall suffer the consequences. So it's like an aeroplane. You know, I mean, we fly by aircraft, we fly all over the world, we fly everywhere, but we don't think about these, you know, we're talking about tons of steel being kept in the air. And it is a miracle, but it's a man-made miracle, but it's built on principles of aeronautics. People go to the moon, and it's not a miracle, it's miraculous, but I mean, it's God's laws that they use to keep that airplane in the air. So controlling your money and ultimately your financial destiny is within your grasp. It's your responsibility. As a matter of fact, you owe it to yourself. And then some people confuse, and I've got to say this, it's Sunday evening, people think by faith. Some people confuse living by faith with recklessness. They reckon, they can just spend it and God will give them money at the end of the month. Well, it doesn't work like that. You've got to actually plan, budget, and so on. Ignoring their own responsibility to recognize their part in managing their lives and their finances. So let's start. You will not believe it, we're just starting now. It is a wonderful subject, and I'm sure you've already been triggered. I mean, just by thinking about money, I mean, you can't go away from this and not be excited about the fact that you have also a role to play. Now, there's a constant quest. This is chapter 1 of the 24. I'm not planning to do them all tonight. We'll probably get to 3 or something. But Jasper, with your permission, I think we will, we'll do this introduction tonight, and then next time we will continue on this. But people can go and read the book. They can go and spend a couple of dollars and buy the book, and it doesn't say everything I'm going to say at these sessions, because I always talk generally over what is written there. I talk between the lines. But there's a 25-hour preoccupation with a search or quest for wealth. People are trying to make more money, but there's an inability in himself to make that money. That's why it gets financial planning. So we strive and compete energetically and timelessly to increase our perceived worth by working towards a good education, obtaining qualifications, hiring ourselves out, transacting, buying and selling at a profit, positioning ourselves, vying for popularity, often at great expense and almost loss of life. As a matter of fact, sometimes people lose their lives in their way. But it's not about things, it's about values. It's about values. And we must start thinking about, what does it mean to become rich? I'm going to give you a formula tonight, setting the stage. Remember, you are your most valuable asset. I've actually just addressed that before, but you are your most valuable, actually God's most valuable asset as well, but you are so intricate in the universe, but in your own life, you have to manage this asset. And don't confuse it with the resources. Money, not an asset, it's a resource, an energizer, something, it's like fuel you burn. Getting the formula right. You are your most valuable asset. But now let's just see how we can improve our wealth. Here is the formula. Just read at the top there. Your life is your most valuable asset. You experience its value as your self-worth, which includes your self-esteem, your name, and your character. Do not exclude it when calculating your true personal worth. Now you'll see there is the formula. True personal wealth equals self-worth plus net worth. Now, even if you would go and, for example, and this happens, if you would lose all your net worth, if you would lose everything you own today, not own, and you think you're useless and worthless, just look at the fact that you have self-worth. You have, in fact, you know what you're worth. If only somebody gave you an opportunity. If only your throat doesn't, you become dry when you have the opportunity of proving who you are in front of an audience. If you didn't get stage fright, you are the person who has all this skills. Not only can you walk and talk, but you can think, you got skills, and God shows us that our personal worth is not dependent on net worth only. Remember, I said I was going to talk about money, but I cannot help but to refer to your worth, because you are worth much more than 100 Rand. And that's the value you get when they take all the components in your life, all the elements. And I think it was worth something like $6 at some stage, $5 or $6. Many years ago, the scientific value. And that's probably worth 100 or 200 Rand now. And that's why they kill people for nothing. but you are worth much more. Your true personal wealth is who you know you are, what you carry inside. There are wonderful things that that body of yours encompasses a soul and so many other wonderful skills and love, appreciation, worship, and all those things. And we must never make a mistake of thinking that we're worthless, because it's not true. Now, let me just, in that vein, I think I've got another 3 or 4 minutes. I'm going to take 3 or 4 minutes and just try and conclude with this. Chapter 3. I talk about reputation capital. Now, we always talk about money as capital, but your reputation is worth everything. It's valued at your integrity and your testimony. I'm going to show you how I spell the word testimony in a minute as I conclude. But Proverbs 22 verse 1 says, a good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is better than silver or gold. It doesn't say it's equal. It's a saying, no, it's better. Now, sometimes we sell ourselves short. Ecclesiastes, we're talking about the wisest man in the Bible, said a good name is better than fine perfume. If you go and look at the word integrity, you'll see it's from the Latin word integer, which means it's whole. So you must act in such a way that your beliefs come out in the way you act. And when I'm an auditor, amongst other things. And if you give me your checkbook, or used to have checkbooks, if I could have access to your financial records, I will tell you exactly who you are. What makes you tick financially? Because we look at the source and we look at the final resting place. The way you think about money is how you will become. If you are a giver, sharing with people, it will come out in your checkbook. If you are a hoarder, consumer, it will come out in the way you spend your money on yourself and not other people, for example. So our eternal purpose as created human beings is to please God. We must not forget that. It's not about us, but God allows us to enjoy ourselves while we're at it. We can have fun. We can enjoy life and go places. Like I always say, go see people and, visit things. To please God, we need to become like Jesus by testifying that God's mercy and His grace in our lives can be shown in how we accumulate things, the money and possessions we have. In order to be an effective witness for Jesus Christ, we need integrity. If I take your integrity away, you've lost everything. So if you lose your name, declared bankrupt or whatever, you've actually lost your name. Now, it's not here. I thought it was in this chapter, but let me just go, and I hope it was here. It's not here. I'm looking at a word which I've coined. Many years ago, I took the word money, testimony. Let me just go there. If you go to the word testimony at the top there, and you take that word testimony, and you put an E in between the word N and the Y at the end, you'll get the word testimony. And this is how God tests us. First, He gives us money, He gives us resources, He tests us. And in the middle of that test is you. Test I, which is your integer, which is your integrity. And if God sees you using His money in such a way that you don't only give Him the glory, not only yourself, but also, I think my iPad just dropped off here. Sorry about this. Let me just fix this while I'm concluding. If you found that your money is only spent on yourself, then your money tells a story. Money talks. But today we find ourselves sharing these principles in such a way that we become more thinking in a more healthy way, not only about ourselves, but first God gives us the resources, and then He tests us with the money that He's given us. So if we get it right, our testimony will actually feed us, and it will feed other people, and we give God the glory. I think I'm going to try and conclude there. reputation capital, your integrity, and the way you spend and earn your money tells everything about you. And I'm sure we can actually conclude for tonight, pause here and maybe continue next time. Thank you, Jasper.